The Stanley Parable demo is a walking simulator that is meant to demonstrate to the viewer what sort of content can be found in the full game. Although the demo never does show what the full game will contain, it does bring up a lot of other things. Upon rewatching the footage of my playthrough, I found that the game demo is designed to allow for critical play. I believe that the Stanley Parable demo allows for critical play through the choices and expectations that it gives the player. Through the choices of the player, the game flow remains the same. The story does not change depending on the actions performed by the user. At most, a few pieces of dialogue are told, but nothing that changes the game. It makes you think, why was I given a choice if it did not matter? There were also the expectations that the Stanley Parable demo sets. When thinking of a demo, one would typically expect a few levels from the full game or a time limit of the full game. The Stanley Parable demo provides none of that. The game continues to set expectations for you to then never show them. I think that the message of the Stanley Parable demo is about choice. More specifically, the lack of options that we have. Throughout the game, the narrator gives us multiple options to choose from the button that we wish to press to the room that we wish to enter. They were all choices where no matter what you pick, the same dialogue or event will occur. Even if you did try to do something different, the narrator would push you back into a certain direction. I think it is similar to the choices that we have in real life. For example, I could choose to either do or not do this assignment. If I choose to do the assignment, I am essentially doing something that someone told me to do. However, if I do not do it, my grade gets affected by it, and the money that I invested in this class goes to waste. There is something that is stopping me from taking the not doing the assignment option, hence I am following the path of if I choose to do the assignment, no matter which option I pick. I think that the Stanley Parable demo takes on the spirit of revolt as described by Duchamp, since it is a different type of game that goes against the norms. As previously mentioned, it is not a typical demo that demonstrates what type of game the Stanley Parable is going to be. The demo instead leaves players with more questions than answers. However, the demo is really well made and toys with the player's mind, with the prime example being the loading screen, while also adding many Easter eggs for when players do unexpected actions. For example, the 8 button. If the player stays in the room for too long, the narrator will get annoyed with the player after having told them to leave the room. There is also the button room, where the player is initially labeled as a pervert. If the player returns to the room later, the narrator mentions how the room has already been explored while then calling them a pervert again. This demonstrates how the developers understood the player's curiosity or their search for content within the game, and they added these Easter eggs to reward the player for it. In my case, upon learning of these hidden remarks, the goal changed for me. Instead of finishing the game, the new objective was to find as much of these hidden pieces of narration as I could. In a way, the Stanley Parable demo takes on the spirit of revolt by indirectly making the player find their own way of making the game fun instead of the game introducing it to the player. Whether it be by ignoring the narrator or trying to find all the hidden Easter eggs, the game encourages you to make decisions even though all the choices you make are pretty meaningless.